Zillow, you know? That name alone can kick off a huge debate in just about any real estate office in the country. I mean, they're a titan, no doubt about it. But right now, they're sailing through some seriously choppy waters in the industry, and you can bet agents everywhere are watching their every single move.
I mean, you've got lawsuits swirling around, all these whispers about commission splits, and then there's that big one, the ever-present fear that AI is coming for everyone's job. Yeah, the whole conversation around Zillow, it is louder and way more intense than it's ever been.
But, with all this noise, what's the real story here? To figure that out, we're going to cut right through all the speculation and go straight to the source. We're talking about Zillow's own leadership. Let's dive in and see what they have to say about their strategy and where they're headed.
And hey, they are not shying away from any of this. This quote right here from their Chief Operating Officer, Jun Choo, really sets a clear, confident tone. But what exactly is that role he's talking about? All right, let's break it down. So that role, it really starts with one of the biggest points of tension out there right now, this whole idea that Zillow wants to control the entire industry.
Okay, so the myth, which is definitely being fueled by some recent lawsuits, is that Zillow is trying to become its own rulemaker, its own governing body. But the reality they're putting out there, it's pretty different. They're insisting their goal is to play within the rules set by organizations like NAR and the local MLSs, not to go around rewriting the playbook.
Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. Zillow says, look, we're going to keep advocating for consumers, and we're going to maintain our own business standards on our own platform. But here's the crucial distinction they're trying to make. They'll run their own house their way, but they claim they're not going to try and force those rules on everybody else. That is a very fine line to walk, for sure.
So if the rules of the game are one huge source of anxiety, well, the technology that plays the game is a whole other thing. Let's talk about AI, artificial intelligence. This is arguably the biggest source of fear and speculation in the entire industry right now. I mean, it's the question on literally every agent's mind, right? Are we really heading toward a future where that human touch just becomes obsolete?
Now, you might expect a tech giant like them to say, oh yeah, for sure. But according to Zillow, the answer is a hard no. The whole story they're pushing isn't about replacement. It's about empowerment. They see AI as a tool that's not going to replace agents, but instead, it's going to be what separates the truly great agents from the just good ones. They're calling these agentic AI tools, and the idea is actually pretty simple. Let the AI handle all that mind-numbing busy work, the paperwork, the scheduling, all of it. This frees up agents to double down on what only a human can do, building relationships, negotiating those tough deals, and providing that expertise you just can't automate. And just look at the potential impact here. Zillow COO is predicting that by using AI, an agent who's doing, say, 15 transactions a year right now could triple that number to 45. We're not just talking about a little improvement here. That is a complete game changer for an agent's business.
So here's the bottom line, and yeah, this might not calm everyone's fears. Zillow's vision is a future with fewer agents. But the ones who are left, they'll be these highly productive super agents. Now, for the consumer, that could be a huge win. You get a better chance of working with a real expert. But for the industry as a whole, that signals a massive, massive consolidation.
All right, so we've talked rules, we've talked robots. Now let's talk referrals and revenue. It's time to follow the money, because this is where some of the most damaging rumors have really started to spread. Okay, let's just get right to it. There's been this rumor going around that Zillow takes a crazy 90% of the commission on its preview program. Well, Jun Choo's response? He's not mincing words. He says it's completely false.
So if it's not 90%, what is the real number? Well, here's how it breaks down. It all starts with a 35% referral fee if a lead actually turns into a transaction. Now, out of that 35%, the biggest chunk, 25%, goes to the Zillow preferred partner agent who closed the deal. But the final 10%, this is the part that might surprise you, it actually goes back to the original listing agent.
You see, when you lay it all out like that, their strategy gets a lot clearer. Zillow wants agents to stop seeing this as just some fee, and instead see it as an engine for aligned success. The idea is that when Zillow's gear turns, it's supposed to drive success for both the buyer's agent and the listing agent.
And to try and prove this isn't just about the money, they're pointing to features like My Agent. You can kind of think of it like a digital handshake. It's a tool that's designed to protect the single most valuable asset an agent has, the relationship with the client.
And the benefits here seem pretty obvious, right? It protects that agent's client relationship, it creates a way better, less confusing experience for the homebuyer, and it cuts down on wasted time and money chasing duplicate leads. But here's Zillow's key argument. By letting agents import their own clients into the system, they are willingly giving up potential revenue. And that, right there, is a pretty powerful statement in their whole effort to build trust. So, you take all of this, their approach to the rules, the big investments in tech, these financial models, and it all starts to point to a much larger strategic evolution that's happening inside Zillow. Listen, if you've been in this industry for any length of time, you know that Zillow has always been about the buyer. But now, they're openly admitting that's changing. This timeline really shows a clear, deliberate journey, moving away from a buyer-only focus and towards creating more tools and options specifically for sellers and their listing agents. And this is where their new seller-focused philosophy gets really interesting. They are basically drawing a line in the sand. On one side, you have what they support, broadly marketing a home to give it the most possible exposure to all potential buyers. But on the other side, what they're against? These quote-unquote private listing networks that essentially hide inventory behind a black box. They're really positioning this as a fight against black box real estate.
And all of that brings us to what they say is their ultimate goal. The end game for Zillow, they claim, is a more open and transparent market. They want to break down walls, not build up new ones, so that every single potential buyer, regardless of who their agent is, has a fair shot at seeing every available home.
You know, this final quote from their COO really just says it all. It's a direct attempt to reframe this entire narrative, to shift it away from conflict and move it towards a message of partnership and mutual benefit. So after hearing their whole playbook, we're really left with this massive question. If Zillow's vision of an industry powered by these tech-enabled super agents actually comes true, what does that transformation really look like for everybody else? That, my friends, is the billion-dollar question that is going to define the future of real estate.